What's going on, folks? It's the True Vapor Show, number 80. Yes, number 80. And look who in the hell has decided to join us today.
80.
80, yeah, he can count. He can count on all fingers and toes.
Zero there, too. Hello, boys.
So, without further ado, take it away, Phil.
What do you mean take it away, Phil? It's your fucking show. You say something.
I already did. I opened it up.
Woo! Oh, my God. Let's start off right there. Hi, boys. How are you? What's going on? Thanks so much for having me back on. Why the hell do you have a show at 11 o'clock on a Thursday? I just don't understand it.
Damn,
don't get it.
We got to go through this shit again.
Yep.
Which is earlier than this.
Yeah.
It's okay. We don't have to do that.
What you put on, man?
I don't know. I got 20 different things in front of me. I've been working on the China video for the past like 3 or 4 days now, and I swear to God, I'm turning Chinese as we go. So I'm like I'm vaping the Inikin Pebble because I think I'm going to look at that next. And I got the Dagger in front of me too because I like that automatic temperature control that it has on it, and then just a bunch of other stuff. Look at that, huh? Look at that beauty right there.
Nice.
All
right. Well, next to him we have Mike.
Hello, everybody. Good morning.
Look at that sexy picture behind Mike. Look at that. It's unbelievable. Wow. You guys are pros.
Vaping on the eVic Primo with the engine RTA.
It sounds like we're announcing a baseball game. Next up, Roger Dickerson.
Got the 2 mini Blazer and the G class with EXO RTA.
What do you think of that G class?
It's confusing in the beginning, right? When you first get it, how do I use this and how does this work?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even know how to change the wattage. I was like, oh my God, you got to sit there and be patient and read the book and figure it out. And when you got to figure it out, it just beautiful.
Yeah. My biggest problem with it is that I need like, what do you call it? Magnifying glass to see anything that's going on that screen. The menu is tiny on that thing.
I changed the font. I put this wallpaper up.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
So it's better with this. The other one is very small. Do you know which font I'm talking about? The one that's like circular, that wallpaper, that one. Yeah.
It's a cool piece.
Yeah.
All right.
Real nice carbon fiber on it. It's just real nice.
Well, let me announce market here real quick, and we'll go at it.
They can continue. I really don't care.
I feel terrible now. Go ahead, Mark.
The Adonis Max with the Twisted Messes 30 RDA. The Joytech, what is it? eVic Primo with the Wotofo. Don't say it. Hold on. It's coming to me. Troll RTA. I think so, right? There we go. And then the Petri box with the, holy hell, the, I'm getting old.
Armageddon
RDA. Liquid, Adore, Banana Bondage. Also got some hazy custard and some of the last of this fried cream cake.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, real quick, what I'm vaping on, the VN 167 with the Blazer tank, the Blazer Mini. Let me get that right. And also the old school Q class with the engine. And in those, I am vaping. What am I vaping? Shit. Damn it, I walked away and didn't grab my damn juice. Well, I'm vaping. So,
that's right. I never said what I was vaping on it.
Yeah. I'm vaping on juice that you vape on that produces vape. So there you go.
How's the vapor production on your vape? Is it vaping?
It actually does put out a little bit. It's pretty cool.
That's good.
So
I feel guilty. You guys are all using new products, so I bought the boxes anyway. Okay, so look, I got them too. See?
Oh goodness. Well, man, what's been happening with you, Phil? I know that you've been in China for a little bit. I've been seeing you post pics all over Facebook. How did that trip go right there?
It went good. I'm actually, like I said, I'm working on the video for it right now. I've been actually working on it for the past 3 days. The reviews it's so hard to get to the reviews now with everything that's going on. So I'm kind of admitting to myself they're going to be few and far between, but we have wonderful people out there like Mike, like Daniel. So they're doing really good quality reviews.
And Mark.
Who?
Mark. Mark Fagan.
Oh yeah. Him too, yeah. It's okay to bust balls on the show, right? That's fine.
That's all we do on here.
Good. So, I've been working on that video. It's, we went there. The primary focus was to hold the Sevilla USA update meeting, and to get more companies, in line and on board with Sevilla USA because of the funding that we're going to need to fight the overreaching regulations. It's because in the States it's all about money, right? It's not about health. They give a fuck about whether we live or die. It's about money and the money to get things done and move mountains. So we're going to need as much of that money as we can moving forward, and that was the goal. That was the goal. So we did talk to a bunch of new companies that aren't on board with Sevilla USA yet. We have some additional interest, and hopefully we'll be now announcing some new companies coming on board soon. But I tell you what, I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but there's sometimes there's drama in the vape community. Are you guys aware of that?
Not this community.
No,
The most dramatic community I've ever seen.
It really is. It's unbelievable. And well, there's drama with Chinese manufacturers too, and most of them can work together, but there's also a lot where if I didn't invent it, or if I'm not the president, or if I'm not the controlling aspect of it, they don't want anything to do with it. So there's definitely a challenge in getting some of those companies focused and on board, and making them understand that look, be enemies later, be competitors later. Let's just get the job done in America first, and then you guys go at each other's throats. But right now, it's really kind of the time for everybody to be working together.
Let me ask you this. So when they have their drama going on over there, on this side of the world, we tend to get on videos and bash folks and do all that kind of crazy shit. What do they do over in China when they're hating on one another?
Carbon.
They burn buildings.
They eat duck heads. No, well, so I think there's two kinds of companies, right? I mean, there's like a professional company doesn't air their laundry for everybody to see, right? I mean, they keep things quiet. We see a lot of that from like Evolve. Evolve doesn't like go online and get involved with drama, or like when the whole Evolve Joytech lawsuit happened, you didn't hear like fighting and bickering. All of a sudden, you just saw the lawsuit, right? And I think that's what you see from a professional company. They won't air their dirty laundry out for the world to see. They'll keep it quiet, keep it to themselves. But when you approach them and you ask them to do things like join Sevilla USA, then you start to hear things, right?
Nice. By the way, real quick for folks in chat, if y'all got questions for Phil, let's kind of keep them towards the end if you don't mind, and then we'll bombard them with them. So the juice line. Last time you were on the show, I believe it was around summertime. You were just getting ready to launch at that point in time. What's happened from here up till now with that?
Things are good. We got we've got some shops coming on board. We've got the website up and functioning. We've got a lot of the shipping details ironed out. I still haven't even like made my video on it. And everybody's like, "Oh, you can't review your own juice." Well, no shit. I'm not going to review my own juice. It's just going to be a video on it, on what it's all about, why I did it, how I did it, where I did it, just to be transparent, because the industry likes transparency. Yet they attack the shit out of you if you do anything behind anybody's back. So I like to be transparent with everything that I do. But it's good. It's I have been using it exclusively since we were going through flavor development. So like my tried and true tribute that I've liked for years and years and years. I have bottles of it now. Matter of fact, there's a big bottle that's barely half used and kind of not using it anymore in favor of my own liquids because I really do enjoy them. A lot of liquid companies, they say that they're doing it for the smoker. My goal with the liquid line was exactly for the smoker. I mean, I didn't think about clouds or high VG or like sweeteners. I wanted it to be a thinner liquid, work well in tanks, provide good flavor while keeping the flavor percentages down. Absolutely no sweeteners because I still think that sweeteners are kind of a wild unknown, and I just have that fear that they're going to become the next APDI bad guy, right? A more professional label, more adult marketing. I hear things like, there's a photo of me with a line and I'm kind of like, dressed in a shirt and everything. And it's like, who are you trying to be? Who are you trying to be with your life? You know what? I'm trying to be the guy that appeals to everybody that you guys out there don't appeal to. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense because, there are going to be people out there who just aren't going to be able to relate to the tattoos and the beards and the ear gauges. They don't want to be part of that. And that's okay. That's okay. But I want to be the guy that's saying, it's okay for you to not have a giant cloud, and it's okay for you not to have a 360 watt device, and it's okay for you not to have a bottle with cartoon characters all over it. It's okay. There's two kinds of vaping, right? And it's okay to be on either side of that, but I want people to know that there is another side, right? And that side should be welcoming to all people. So just a little bit of a different niche. That's all.
I'm gonna go shave my beard real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
Come on.
I'm messing with you, Phil. I'm messing, brother.
I'm gonna go have my tattoo.
Yeah.
As much as I hate to admit it, there are two types of vapors. There's your,
There is.
your
And your juice is kind of more related to a mouth to lung type vapor than the boys blowing the big clouds. I mean,
Totally is.
they're and I think we forget that because really the crowd that we do run in, I mean, a good bit of us are high wattage type folks.
Of course we are. Of course we are. Because anybody watching a show like this right now is an enthusiast vapor. Okay. And I don't even know if I talked about it on the last show that we were on, but you got like iPhones, right? How many millions of iPhone users do you have out there? And there are people that just want to use the iPhone. But there are also people that want to get into the iPhone and they're on iPhone forums and they follow the iPhone and they're really involved with the iPhone, right? And it's okay for there to be both kinds of people. But because we're so into this community, because we're such a part of it, we tend to see one side of vaping. And believe me, there's another side out there. And that's the side that I want to attract or be attractive to. I hope that makes sense.
So, do you think your juice is not going to attract to the other side of vaping, like the cloud chasers and whatnot? You don't think they're going to enjoy it?
I would love for them to. I would absolutely. I would be thrilled with that. But I mean, I've already heard from some people they've tried it. They're like, I don't like it. I don't like the way it vapes. And I'm like, all right, well, how did you try? I tried at 250 watts on a stripper with massive plug. Well, yeah. I mean, it's not designed to vape that way. Right. There are plenty of other liquids that are designed to vape that way. I wanted to do something a little bit different. That's all.
I mean, even the cloud chasers, they still also vape, the small device. Like, for example, these little, these devices here.
Yeah. And
I vape this. I'll bring this sometimes. I'll have it with me. So something like this, I would vape, for example, your juice I'd put in here.
It's perfect for a device like that, Mike.
Exactly.
And, I'm actually seeing that more and more now as I go to shows. I'm seeing those guys who are enjoying their volume vaping and they're doing their tricking and they're doing their giant clouds, and then they reach in their pocket and they pull out like a Juul or a Von Earl or the E-Leaf there, and they get their nicotine hit. So, you can call those two kinds of devices. You could either call them like an analog equivalent or a cigarette replacement, but you can also call them a companion device, right? A companion device to give you your nicotine hit as you still get your clouds and your tricks and everything like that.
Hey,
Yeah, I love like this little MyJet.
Mm-hmm.
I love using this thing.
Yeah, and there's going to be more and more of those devices coming. As a matter of fact, I've got one in front of me right now from a company. Unfortunately, I can't. I've got like 3 devices in front of me right now that I can't show you guys because they're coming out after the Chinese New Year. But we're going to see more and more of that style device.
Yeah.
I think so anyway.
Well, we talked about it on the show that you're on last, but for people that haven't maybe kept up, what are some of the flavor profiles that you have in your juice line?
I should at least get like a bottle of my juice to hold up on the screen.
Yeah, where can we get your juice at? Like, are there vendors that carry it, or at the moment?
Oh. There we go with the TV shit.
eeliquids.com.
Yeah, so that site is live. It's taking orders now. There's actually a really nice little interview video with me on the site that just kind of goes through, my experience with vaping and why I did the line. But it's there. There's on Taste Your Juice. I'm starting to keep a running list of all the vendors that are carrying it because I think we have like maybe 5 vendors online right now. There's a couple bigger vendors that are coming online very, very soon that I really can't talk about until it actually happens because I wanted to make sure that they do have their release however they want to do it. We're having some issues with Canada. We're still working through those issues. It's nearly impossible to get liquid through there. You tend to have to get it, nicked and bottled up there. So we're working through those issues. We've gone through TPD for at least the UK. So we're trying to get the tubes settled because we got to go with the 10 mil tubes into the UK and looking for distributors there. So I am definitely looking for quality distributors. There's a lot of distributors that'll just carry everything out there, but I really kind of want distributors who will understand the line and represent the line the best possible way.
Nice.
All right, I'll go get some. Hold on.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
It's good. I'm happy I'm not naked from the waist down because this would be a really bad shot right now.
The money shot.
The door opens.
Oh, you can finally see through the door, folks. There it is. So, Mark, never mind. He's back.
He's back.
No, God, I feel bad. Talk to Mark for a little while. Go ahead, poor guy.
No, I was just going to ask Mark. I said, have you got anything new and interesting hit this week?
New? Nothing really new. Like the Primo from Joytech. I think it's the Primo. Yeah, the Primo, the Twisted Message 30. I got the Goon LP, even though it's kind of been reviewed a couple hundred times. But I'm late to the game on that one. But,
See, I either ask Mark or Mike because they get the same stuff. So it's like one week I'll say, hey, Mike, what'd you get? Because I know Mark got the same thing. So
I'll tell you guys something. The Primo, I got the Evic Primo. Phil, I'm not sure if you've opened up the package to check it out, but they really did a nice job with the Evic Primo.
The box is beautiful.
It is, yeah.
my 510 pin keeps sticking for some reason.
510 on here. I don't know why Joytech still insists to use this shitty 510 on their devices. They would have had the almost perfect device. Almost.
I think Joytech makes some really good product. I think that like with Joytech, there's a lot of different lines underneath Joytech. So there's Joytech, there's Vape Forward, there's Wismec, and I know there's a couple others under there too. And what's that?
E-Leaf.
Yeah. And they really tend to keep their devices separated a little bit, I think, anyway. Like I would be very, very surprised if we see a Joytech 300 or 360 watt device, right? But we will see a Wismec 300 or 360 watt device, and I think that's good. I think it's good that they kind of keep their lines a little bit separate. Of course, they'll probably wind up proving me wrong with their next release, but.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also extremely cost effective. I mean, the Joytech products are very inexpensive, so, and sometimes you look at them, you're like, how did they even get it this cheap? But then, you say things like, why are they keep doing the same 510 thing over and over and over again? So I think that's where you see, some of the cost reduction there.
Yeah, I think they got a great deal on 510s. Probably, millions of them, and they feel like, okay, we can't change it. We got to use all these.
Yeah. Yeah, and we see that from companies too. I mean, we see that from like Inokin. Inokin will have extra boxes from their last release lying around, so they put some new electronics in it, and they release it as the next device, right?
Yeah.
Let's have some coffee here for. Have a nice day.
Look at the figure at the bottom. Oh, I love it.
You know what's funny? I did a video, I think it was yesterday, and I was drinking the coffee, and as I lifted it, you'd see the bottom is just like the sticker from the cup.
It is. Well, that's
so
what
I
happened.
said in the video. I said I should have like a little message here, so when I lift it to drink the coffee, everybody could just see it and get people's reaction. Meanwhile, you got the cup with the reaction symbol.
Sorry, I didn't mean to rain on your parade there. But
No, that's good. I like that.
That sticker, that's what happens when you steal stuff from Walmart.
Yes, exactly. That's a security sticker.
It is. So we got the liquid comes in 3 forms. It comes in the standard dripper bottle, right? So that's the standard dripper bottle right there. We're also in the precision tubes, and I absolutely love these things. So that's the box for the tubes. And then, do I have a tube here in front of me? No, I'll take this one out. So that's the tube right there. A lot of people saying, it looks like a hair care product and everything like that. But you know what? When you start to understand what this tube is, it makes a whole lot of sense. So it's 7 layers of pharma grade material with a layer of aluminum sandwiched in between those layers. So it's basically designed to prevent oxidation, right? So it increases shelf life, and they're fantastic to use. Still has a child safety cap on it. Really, really narrow little tip like that right there. So it's easy to fill your tanks or drip or whatever you want to do. Because I know with the glass bottles, especially when I do traveling, the first thing I do is I take this and I dump it into a unicorn bottle, right? Because I don't like traveling with these. But this kind of eliminates that, and it's just terrific.
Those are really nice bottles.
I hate glass bottles.
I think most people do. And that's why I like the tubes, because some of the unicorn bottles, they're known to leach. But we're doing, or Molecule is doing a lot of science on the tubes to make sure that they don't, right?
So the tubes, they're equivalent to 30 mil?
Yeah. Everything in my line comes in a 30 mil. Overseas, it's going to be the 10 mil. A lot of people asking me, why not a 60 mil? Number one, it doesn't really fit the line, right? I don't think it fits the line. If you're in the 60 mil or the 100 mil or the 120 mil, you're probably a liquid that people are going through a lot of, right? Be it the cloud chasing or the sub ohming, sucking down 50 mils of e-liquid a day. That's not what this liquid is designed to be. I mean, it's designed to be safe. It's designed to be sipped, not gulped, right? So I don't think the larger sizes make sense for it.
Gotcha.
Well, 30 ml doing mouth to lung is going to last you. It's going to last.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Curiosity. So you were over in China. Did you get to see like some new things that you can hit on for the crowd, or is everything like hush hush right now?
Unfortunately, because of the time that we went there, because it's so close to Chinese New Year, everything that we did see, like I said, I've got about 3 products in front of me right now. That I can't talk about, only because a lot of them are going to release right after the Chinese New Year. And this is one of the ways that I've gained respect with these companies. When they share stuff with me, I don't share it. I mean, I've always said that I'm kind of a walking NDA when it comes to a lot of this stuff, and I am, and I'm going to maintain that. So yeah, I mean, I've got some cool like Aspire. They have a new device and a new tank coming out. And it's kind of up my alley, right? And I think it's going to be, a good success. Sigelli has a nice new product coming out. I think that's going to be a success. We saw a few other things, but unfortunately, not a lot of stuff that I can talk about other than some of the devices that we've already touched on, like the new the new SX Mini, and this one too. Like what is it? The G class.
Yep.
So I got it. They gave it to me pretty much off the line, but they already said don't look at this one because they have a fix. So, typical China, right? It's like push, rush, and then oops, Oh, oops.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I
But,
noticed.
you know,
I noticed like with mine, when Daniel had gotten his, he had like a prototype, whatever it was, and he had told him to make corrections for the firmware, like where it's supposed to say watts, it says wattas. So he asked me when I got mine. Daniel's like, "Did they change that?" I'm like, "No, mine says wattas on there." So it looks like I don't know if mine is. Looks like mine's got the same firmware Daniel's has.
Yeah, but that's an easy fix. More challenging fixes are, oops, there's an issue with the joystick, or oops,
Yeah.
there's an issue with the button. Software issues, those can be fixed in firmware updates, but hardware issues, that's a tough one to get by. And,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure I asked the question, why are you sending me a new one? Because usually when they send you a new one, that's a hardware issue, not a software issue, right? So we'll see. We'll see. Hold on. We should have a ode to Daniel here. Wait a second. There we go. All right. Where is he? Why is he not on the show?
He's been taking a little time off here lately, so I guess after the new year, he's supposed to be cranking back up, to my knowledge. After the Chinese New Year, I think he's coming back into play with things.
You got to take a break every now and then. You really do. Otherwise, it does get very, very overwhelming. Dimitri and I, we've got a couple things going on that we're going to be announcing here pretty soon. But it does get very overwhelming. Like, I mean, the table that I just pulled these boxes from, it's literally overflowing. And I still have, some companies coming to me, hey, Phil, can we send this to you? Most of the times it's no, because it's just another Me Too product. But now that a lot of these Chinese companies have my address, it's like, fuck it. We don't need to email them first. Let's just send them product, right? And it's like, I mean, with everything that I have going on, it's really, really hard to do the reviews and do as many of them as I used to do.
Yeah, it's hard to control that. I mean, now as soon as they got your address, forget it. They just start sending and sending.
Oh, yeah.
Then they'll email you. When are you going to do the video? I never said for you to send it.
Is that a spinner in your hand?
Of course it is. I mean, what am I going to review after the industry collapses? I'm going to be looking at spinners. I'm going to be reviewing spinners, quadcopters, perhaps even sex toys.
You'll be right up Mark's alley with the sex toys. So
Yeah, I got dibs on the sex toys. So
Do you really?
yeah.
I want to design sex toys.
Hey, Phil, no shit. Mark was actually contacted by, what was it, eBay or Amazon?
Amazon, someone from Amazon.
To start reviewing dildos.
Seriously.
Yes.
How do you review a dildo, though? I mean, how does a guy review a dildo?
Well, very easy. You get the mic in the same room. You guys,
Let's do it.
Oh, gosh. Well, I know that you normally, like when you go to China, it's like, I know you go to see Anakin and some of the big boys. Is there like new folks that you're introduced to this time, or pretty much the same clientele?
So we did go visit with Anakin. We visited with Kanger. We visited with Aspire. In the video, I'll give you guys a little bit of a preview of the video. We do see Anakin's new offices, which are absolutely beautiful, by the way. So you're going to see that. Anakin has a new GMP, a very highly rated GMP clean room for all of their tank and their coil production. So you're going to see that in the video. As a matter of fact, Anakin they're retooling their entire factory. So the entire factory, from where the tanks and the coils are made to where the devices are made, it's all going to be the same clean room standard. So, and I like to see that. I like to see that continuous improvement because, we've also have been to some factories that, we saw Sigelli. Sigelli is a factory that we haven't seen before. So you're going to see Sigelli. You're going to see a little bit of 213 mini production. You're going to see some Swallowtail production there. Now, we did get to go to Yihai, depending on what country you're from. And we were really excited for that because I thought that the people would have the most interest in that segment of the video. However, that wound up being the most disappointing, okay? Because Yihai is actually broken into like 4 or 5 buildings. You have a software development building. You have an SMT, a surface mount technology building. That's where the pick and place machines are that we saw at the Evolve factory. You have another building where production of the devices happens. You have another building where there's offices, and where the offices are, that's where they take the boards in after they do the surface mount technology, the pick and place, and they attach leads and screens to. That's the building that we got to see. And it wasn't very exciting. It was, I mean, literally, we walked around the company, we got the tour, and it's like, okay, here's this room, and it was a door. They didn't even open the door. And here's this room, and it was another door. So finally, I was like, can we maybe open one of these doors? And they opened a door, and behind the door was like just a bunch of boxes. So, and that we walked around, we saw all the doors, and we wound up in the same place where we started, which was like their lobby. And I'm like, well, this really kind of sucks. We didn't see anything. You know, we didn't see it. I didn't have anything to really share. So they finally brought us up to the area where they do board soldering. Okay. And it wasn't a whole lot to see. And even there, I wasn't really permitted to kind of get up close and personal with what was going on. So it's a little bit of a look inside the company, but it's not a very, very good look inside of the company.
It seems like they were afraid to give away secrets to something.
Well, I think so, because the first time that we were invited to go, we were permitted to film the conference rooms and nothing else. So we just said, you know, no, we're not going to go. But this time, I mean, they were very hospitable. We had dinner with them. Mr. Chen, I believe, is the owner of Yeehai. He was out on business, but we did get the tour from one woman. Her name is Carrie. I don't know what her title was, but also Mr. Chen's wife showed us around the facility. And we had dinner with them. You know, we talked to them about Sevilla USA. They showed some interest there, which I think is a great thing. But now that we have that relationship, you know, we did mention that maybe the next time we come back, we can see the pick and place, and maybe we can see product development. So, you know, a lot of times too, it's building that relationship and that trust before they open the doors and they, you know, they let you see everything. So maybe next time. This time, I think it's going to be a little disappointing for folks.
I got another good question for you. So back in the day, Kangertech used to be like the thing. Everybody was like, "Woo, got to have me something," you know. But now it's kind of like
I was just going to ask that.
It's lost and gone, and it's like, they
don't seem to be doing too well lately, right?
Yeah. Or is there like a trend about to hit to where they're going to get back in the game pretty hard? But it's like they've fallen off the map somewhat.
You know, I think they have. I think one of Kangaroo's problems is that they don't listen, or maybe they listen to the wrong people. You know, we talk about this a lot when we go to China, and we explain this to companies how the vaping public is, right? Every time you have a winning product, you go up one rung in the ladder, right? Winning product, up another rung. Winning product, up another rung. And you gain momentum, and you gain the trust of the community. But here's the problem: the first time you have a fail, it's not like you go down one rung. You go all the way back down to the bottom of the ladder, right? All of a sudden, people are just ready to fucking turn on you. No matter how many successes you've had, no matter how good your product has been, if you put a fail out there, it's like you're starting over again, right? And I think, you know, that's kind of happened with Kangaroo a little bit. Now, in talking with them, I keep hearing that they have big things coming, right? So, and believe me, that's even all I know about what they have coming. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, what they're going to do.
Gotcha.
But I agree with you. I agree with you that on Kangaroo.
Yeah, because like I said, that was what I used to turn to all the time years ago on sub-ohm tanks and stuff. And it's just kind of like, man, you barely even hear of a product that comes out from them anymore. And what few little things it seems like they do come out with, it's just nothing that's groundbreaking or anything.
What's that new company they have, or their sub? Okay, what is that about? Like, is that them trying to do something different, or what's? I mean, why do companies do that? Why do they make another company out of curiosity? Just
Well, see, it's a really good question, Mark, because when you see when you see a Joytech come out with a Wismec, right? The Wismec has a different look, a different feel, maybe more power, maybe the same board, behind the scenes, but it's just got it's a little bit different from like the Joytech line. Joytech seems to look this pretty much the same way. Nice form factor, good screen, the clock, all that other jazz, right? But when I saw some of the Arami product coming out, it's like, okay, how is it different from the Kanger product? There wasn't enough distinction between the two. It just felt like Kanger with Arami slapped, on the back,
yeah.
Right? You feel the same way, right?
Yep.
I think I think that the reasoning they do that isn't what you're saying. It's more like they don't want to be seen to be pumping out so much product. So in order for them to pump out massive amounts of products, they open up these companies thinking, oh, they won't find out it's the same company. And that's how they pump out massive product.
Yeah, but I agree with that. I totally agree with that. But it's not like they hit it. I mean, when you go to Arami, you see Kanger. When you go to Kanger, you see Arami. So it's like I don't think they were trying to hide it in any way, shape, or form. But I agree with you there. I guess I don't understand it in their case.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more and more you review products, the more you find out that these companies are kind of all owned by the same people. Like, there's so many companies. I look at the packaging and the wrapper and the tags, and like, wow, this looks like eLeaf, and this looks like like they're almost all the same companies.
I had a situation where I got Geek Vape products, and the box all the Geek Vape products were in was sent to me by eLeaf. So figure that one out.
That could very well be because you got Geek Vape and now you got Digiflavor. I know they have a relationship, but I'm not sure who the parent company is. Even like Aspire. Aspire isn't really Aspire. Aspire is eGate. Okay, eGate owns Aspire. eGate, I think, owns the battery company. So like a lot of these companies, when you dig into it, there's parent companies and there's companies above that, and then companies under that, and they split out. So yeah, it's confusing. I'm sure there's a reason for it. Yeah. I'm sure like business wise in China, I'm sure there's a reason for it. I've even heard from some companies they have their more dangerous products under one line, and then they have their safer products under another line to protect themselves too. Right? So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's funny.
It's unbelievable.
I know. Well, what kind of questions have we got rolling out there? Please put them in caps. Go ahead.
First of all, you guys give me your what do you call it? Your shipping address. I'll get you some of the liquids out to you guys. Okay. So I want you guys to try them and enjoy them. Now, if you like them, please do talk about them. And if you don't like them, shut the fuck up and throw them in the garbage.
Oh, goodness. Hey, what is your, we always ask this of folks, but there's always products that you have to test. But is there that one mod and device that you're always like, ooh, that's the one my normal pickup device, my everyday go-to? Do you have that one laying around?
I talked about it in the end of your video. My radius.
Okay, nice.
My radius. Oh, and there too. I'm really concerned with Pro Vape. I'm hearing a lot of stuff, and I see their stock going down and down and down and not getting replenished. I don't know anything that's going on there, but I'm sure we're going to find out soon enough. But just because it always works, like even back when it was like this, right? No matter what show I went to, I would have like my new stuff, I would have my review stuff, and then I would have this, because I know if everything else failed, I can go to this and it'll always work, right? And that's kind of how I feel about the Radius. First of all, this thing has more use on it than any of my devices, but it still looks like fucking new. I mean, they make a good quality product. They really do.
Pro Vape makes really good stuff. Why are they not entering like the high wattage market? Is there any certain reason why? I mean, they would make an awesome device, but they just choose not to for some reason.
I think they choose not to for a couple of different reasons, because I don't think it's something that they believe in. I don't think it's something that it's a game that they want to play, and I also think that they are concerned to the point where it's detrimental to the company about safety. Okay. And every time I've talked to them, it's been the same thing. And I wished, because, they can say that all day long, right? But then somebody will say, well, how come this company is able to safely put out 75 watts with a single 18650 battery? And I wished that they would publish why, right? What did their engineers know about the safety of a device that's preventing them from doing that? Just like let people know why, rather than just kind of doing it behind the scenes. But I think that's why they haven't played in the game. I just don't think it's something that they believe in.
Yeah, I used to love my Pro Varies, man. I own so many of those devices, but just as I evolved and I got into higher wattages, I just couldn't stick with it no more. But I used to love my Pro Varies. Love them as a company and their products, but
yeah, and I think there was a time, especially with us, guys that might have a little bit of gray in their beards, that we all loved. Hey, look, I do too, man. I'm not just Scott. What about you, Scott? I think we all did. I think we all did it at one point, right? It was. For me, my first adjustable was a Buzz Pro, right? And then I went from the Buzz Pro to the Pro Variant. It's like, oh my god, it has a screen. How fucking cool is that? It's codes and shit. But I think a lot of us, depending on when we got involved with vaping and our age, had some kind of love affair with Pro Vape at some point.
Yep, same here. That was my first high-end mod that I bought.
The Pro Vari with the beauty ring and the K Fun, just perfect combination.
It was. It really, really was. Back with this one, do we still have it here in front of me? This with a Cure Fanis Cardo tank, the one that covered the slant and it made it look like all one solid piece. Yep. That was my jam for a long time, man. The first time I screwed that on, I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Look at
I had my Nautilus Mini on there.
I used to love that thing.
Yeah, Nautilus Mini is still, it's still like great tank. For a beginning vapor, for a mouth to lung vapor, that Nautilus. I'm using literally 2 or 3 tanks right now that all use the Nautilus BVC coils. Right, I think that's still one of the best coils out there for mouth to lung vaping.
Here's your question from Patrick. It says, Phil, did you hear from Bomber Tech?
Bomber Tech?
Yes.
About?
That was the question.
I
guess it was something maybe you've been talking about in the past.
What do they make?
Don't give me the line. That's the first I've heard of that one.
Well, they make an RDA and an RDTA. Well, they make something like this. You see this? It's a little tiny, like a RTA or RDTA, and it's got a little 2 ml tank reservoir. But this has it's a velocity build deck.
Okay.
But it's a squonk. You could squonk the liquid into the tank. So instead of it being a 2 ml, holding it like this, for example, I got 11 here and 2, so I have 13 mLs in this device.
That's a great idea. That's actually something that we were thinking about was a tank that you can fill via squonking. I did make the comment in the end of year video that in at least 2017, the devices that I do look at, I want to be really focused on what I'm calling, and we can go ahead and talk about this because it raises a lot of eyebrows every time I do, reasonably powered devices. And I definitely want to be focused on the mouth to lung style of vaping, right? There's plenty of reviewers who are very, very focused on direct lung, big air, big clouds. It's just, and I'm not saying, here we go. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm not against that. You vape how you want to vape, just don't smoke. That's what I care about. But it's not something I enjoy. It's simply something that I don't like doing, right? I still like that smoking experience from my vape. I still like that mouth to lung experience. I like taking the vapor into my mouth. I like opening my mouth a little bit, mixing that vapor with some air, like bringing it into my lungs. I like that sharp, defined throat hit. So, you know, and I've said this, and my wife says, don't say it that way. Don't say it that way. That I'm still a smoker at heart, right? Because I still like that experience. That's what keeps me satisfied. Be happy with what keeps you satisfied, right? Don't smoke, you know, but just find in vaping what you like. And that's what I like. And that's why I want to focus on that. Because if I love boats, I want to review boats. I don't want to review cars, right? If I'm going to review cars, I want to review the car that's going to, you know, be your everyday commuter. I don't necessarily want to review the race cars, right? So that's just something that I want to do. That's something that I'm interested in, and that's something that I want to be focused on moving forward.
All right, here's a fairly long question, two-part, but I'll read it out to you. It says, Phil, how have you stayed in the industry for so long? As a vapor, I find it hard to be involved in the online vaping community. What change/behavior would help vaping and the community the most?
That is a great question, because I truly believe, and I've been saying this for years now, that this industry has become its own worst enemy, right? And we can certainly talk about some of the new devices that are coming out. So, you know, we've got, you know, Evolve. I love Evolve as a company. I've got a lot of respect for John. I got a lot of respect for Brandon. They had me at their facility. We saw, you know, how the boards are made, but I was very, very surprised at their 250 watt device. Right. And I almost feel like that started the whole watt wars up all over again, because I thought it was kind of dying down a little bit. But now we have the 250 watt. So now we have all of these 4 battery devices coming out, and we've got 300 watt devices coming out. We've got 360 watt devices coming out. And I don't know. I feel like we're trying so hard to make vaping as dangerous for us as smoking was, right? Because we always hear that 95% number, 95% safer than smoking. Well, I have a feeling that 95%, you know, number, it kind of reflects how maybe I vape, or how maybe somebody with a Vonneral or with a Juul vapes, because I don't think the nicotine is necessarily the dangerous thing that's going on. But when we start looking at 300 and 360 watt devices, and we start to increase the temperatures higher and higher, and as we start to increase our liquid consumption, what we're doing is we're introducing more toxicants to our body, right? So what is happening with that 95% number as we do these things, and we follow these trends, and we do these behaviors, and I think there needs to be a study, because for a lot of people are going to say, you know what, it's safer than smoking, I don't give a fuck. All right. But there's also going to be those people who are truly concerned with tobacco harm reduction, and they want to do this as safely as possible. Right. So we need more data and more charts and more graphs in simple, everyday human speak, not fucking PhD speak that none of us can fucking understand. Right. We need simple. Here's how bad a cigarette is. Here's how bad vaping X mils at 15 watts is. Here's how bad vaping 20 mils at 100 watts is. We need to know that. We really need to know that. Because I have a lot of concerns. I have a lot of, fears with how people are vaping, out there. And every time I say that, I get attacked, but it's not because I'm talking down, against anybody, or it's not because I'm against the industry. It's because I actually fucking care about you. I actually care about how you're doing and what you're doing. And every time we get a story about a battery exploding, every time we get some other, negative story about vaping, it's affecting all of us. It's putting nails in our coffins every fucking day. And I actually care, right? Did I answer any of that question?
You did. You did.
I think China also plays a role, like the manufacturers to blame for putting out all these higher watt devices. I mean, I know we're not being forced to buy this stuff, but the market's just flooded with all this like 300, 400 watt stuff. And it's almost like, like you almost have no choice. But that's all you see when you look around is 200-300 watt devices.
Yeah. The only good thing about those 300 watt devices is the battery life. I mean, necessarily, it does say 300 watts or 350 watts, but nobody's putting a gun to your head to vape at 300. Because it does a maximum wattage doesn't mean you have to vape it at that point.
Hold on a second. We have a special guest. Hey, Dimitri.
Yeah.
I'm on the show right now. Do you want to say hello to everybody?
Hi, everybody.
Any-
Which show are you on?
Scott's and Fagan and Mark. They're a bunch. You know them.
Oh, yeah, of course I do. You can't make this shit up. You can't.
You can't make this shit up. No, you're on a show.
Dimitri, can you hear us?
Can you hear them?
Can you hear us, Dimitri?
I can only hear you.
You guys want a question? You haven't.
I want to say something to him.
Okay, here. Listen close, Demi. Listen close. Good.
All right.
Γεια σου, πατριώτη.
It's going Greek.
Here we go, folks.
We're talking Greek.
This show has suddenly gone Greek.
All right. I'll call you when you get done.
I will. I'll call you when I get done. You got to be careful. You got to be careful with anytime you talk about Greek with Dimitri because it instantly goes to anal sex. All right, brother. I'll call you after the show. I love you too. Bye.
Oh Lord.
I understand what Mike's saying, but the tanks that they're putting out just follow the trend with the 300 watt devices, like these big ass tanks.
Yeah, because me and Mark
are crazy.
Me and Mark have talked quite a bit in the past couple of weeks about because there's like a lot of 300 watt devices coming out, yada yada, and all this, and the tanks to go with it. And it's like, man, who in the hell is really going to vape at these high wattages? I mean, to me, it's kind of like it's like a horsepower game. To me, it's almost like walking around to say, hey, I've got my Mustang out there and it's got 1,000 horse in it, outdo that. Yeah. It's all about like a pissing contest with it. And to me, the highest I normally vape, the highest, is maybe when I drip, maybe do 110, 120 on the occasion. But I get a tank in the other day that I can vape comfortably at 170 watts like it's nothing. And it's like, man, what the hell is going on here? It trips me out.
Yeah, and I wonder because I've seen a lot of like stuff floating around Facebook, and I wonder if even the high wattage cloud chasers are looking at some of this stuff and going, like, how much is too much, right? Because that's what I keep thinking. When is enough going to be enough? When is how much going to be, when is too much going to be too much? And Dimitri even posted something about that. He's like, well, when are we going to see the 6-pack mod, right? That uses 6 batteries. And I hear the argument all the time about battery life, right? And I totally get that, and I totally understand that. So why don't we see, maybe 100 watt mod that has 4 batteries?
Yeah.
Right? Why don't we see something like that? Something that's focused on battery life, but has a more, here we go again, reasonable, wattage associated with it.
Yeah, I think China honestly thinks like the higher the wattage, the better their device is going to be.
They do. They absolutely do. And this is something that I'm actually going to mention in the video. This is where I have a little bit of a moral dilemma being associated with Sevilla USA, right? Because here is a organization that's providing funding for us to help fight the overreaching FDA regulations, but at the same time, members of this organization are putting out devices that I don't think are going to win us any popularity contests, right? Because no matter how much we know internally as a community that a lot of these battery explosions are being caused by user error, right? It's a mech that the button is sticking. It's a bad battery. It's too low a resistance. It's somebody putting their batteries in their pocket or in their purse, unprotected with keys, right? Unfortunately, because I always think that like when they talk about regulating batteries, nothing is going to help stupid. Nothing is going to fix stupid. There's nothing that we can do to fix a device to prevent somebody from putting an unprotected battery in their pocket, right? maybe something like the Inikin. I can't think of the product, but I mean, Inikin does a lot of internal batteries. They had that one where the battery pack kind of attached on the side. You know, maybe that's the direction that we have to go, rather than giving, you know, because that's something that I talked about at the Sevi USA meeting, right? I'm not necessarily for these high wattage devices, but if you're going to do it, let's figure out a way to take the error out of the user hands, right? And what are those errors? Now, if you have a 4 battery device, what's going to happen? You have the possibility of putting a new battery, an old battery, mixed batteries. Maybe they're not going to play together. Maybe something goes wrong. But if you get that 4 battery device and you're vaping like crazy wattage, what does that mean? That means you got to carry 4 spare batteries with you now. And that's 4 more chances of you doing something stupid and putting a battery. Because let me tell you something, it happens it happens to me. I was just I had to take a photo of that battery right there, and I pulled this out of a DNA 200 device. And you'll notice, like right now, I've got electric tape on my leads. But stupid, right? When I first took it out, I didn't. Those leads were exposed, and I took it and I pushed it out of the way, and I pushed it right into something metal, and sparks went, you know, all over the place. So it could happen to the best of us. Let's figure out a way to, you know, have that kind of wattage device, but take the error out of the user hands as much as possible.
Totally agree with that.
That's why I like the way Inikin does their stuff. You
know,
safety.
Mike, there's 2 companies that still have my complete and total respect out there. Okay, one of them is going to be ProVape in the States, right? And the other one is going to be Inikin. I've called Inikin the ProVape of China many times because, first of all, I think they do things for the right reason. George is an ex-smoker. He vapes now. James, the owner of the company, George and James are our partners. They actually vape. They have family members who they got off of smoking into vaping. And if you see some of the communications, like the Christmas email that they put out, they talked about like harm reduction and things like that. When you get an Inikin product, there's always like battery warnings and stuff like that. They do internal batteries most of the time. They haven't played in the really high wattage game. So Inikin as a company, they still have like my complete respect because of the company that they are and because of the way they do things.
Yeah. Agree.
Well.
Boy, you guys really get me going.
That's why I bring you on here, so get you fired up, and then it's time to go back to work, right?
Well, see, like, okay, so this is how it almost went down today. So 10 minutes before this show, my phone rings, and it's my wife. My wife is in Florida right now visiting her friends, right? So, you know, the first thing that I do when she goes to Florida is I change my Facebook status to single. That's not true. That's not true. But so she went there. Now she calls me because she manages and she works at a hair salon, right? And she's like, please don't be mad at me. I'm like, oh, fuck. It's either going to cost me money or time, one of the two. Please don't be mad at me. But the monitor at the salon broke, and she knows I have spare monitors here. So now I got to be like computer tech repair guy. I got to go out there and replace their monitor. So naturally, you know, I bribed her with sex when she gets back. But then she called. Then she called and she said that they unplugged it and they plugged it back in and it works now. So there goes the sex bribe. So I had to do that, and now I don't have to do that. So that's a good thing. But now I have to call, you know, my other wife, Dimitri, when this is over, and then I just want to get the China video done. I want to get the China video done so I can go back to to actually doing what I do, which is review devices. But that's going to be few and far between. And then I got to go to TPEs. Anybody going to TPE? No.
Where's TPE at?
TPE's Vegas.
Oh, I'm not sure.
When is that?
Next weekend.
Oh.
Next weekend, or let's see, I fly out there Tuesday, and then I fly back Friday. So not the weekend. It's actually during the week. So from what I understand, that's like a big combination of everything show. That's like tobacco, CBD, THC, and of course, vaping, right?
Yeah. I think
And
Mark was there last time.
possibly even spinny things too.
Yeah, Mark was there last year at it.
Oh yeah, how was it?
Very TP, is that the business only one?
I believe it is a business only. Yeah.
It is beautiful. It's mixed with smoking though. They got smoking products there.
Yes.
It's really
Yeah,
nice. It's really nice.
like yeah, like I said, it's tobacco too. But
Yeah, it's nice and clean and professional, and you don't have the normal crowd walking around blowing clouds everywhere. It's real nice.
right. That's another thing too. I'd like to see. Shows. I would love to see a show go back to the roots of what a show used to be, which was really kind of helping to convert smokers and that real sense of community. I miss the shows that were at the hotels, right? And there was just a big hotel conference room, and there were no like big giant displays or like who's got the biggest dick contest with their
Yep.
sides, right? It was just, everybody had a little fold out table with a banner behind them. And it was the people and the product speaking for themselves, not the size of the display. And in the middle of that room were just all the tables where everybody would they would do their little builds and they would help people out, right? And I kind of miss those days a little bit. Now, the shows are great. They're great for the enthusiast side of vaping. They're great for the industry, but I don't know how great they are for maybe smokers or even middle-aged folks to older folks who want to quit, but they're afraid of what they might see at a show like that, right?
Yeah, it'd be terrifying for someone like that. I hate most of these shows. I mean, you can't get any information on the product. People are just there, giveaways being thrown out like crazy, and I prefer what they used to be. They were a lot more fun back then.
Absolutely, they were a lot more fun, and I think a lot more helpful too.
Yep.
I went to a show in Canada, and the Canada shows are actually very well done. I really truly like the Canada shows, but even that show was starting to get a little bit iffy. And this gentleman who I talked to online, his name is Dennis, great guy. He wanted to go to the show. He wanted to say hello to me and to Dimitri. So he went and he brought his daughter, and his daughter said to me, if I had known it was going to be like this, I would have never come, and I will never go to another vape show again. So, for her to say that, other people are saying it too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And it's really too bad. It's really too bad what the industry has become. But, if it wasn't for some of the behaviors and some of the directions that the industry has taken, it wouldn't be as big as it is today, and it wouldn't be helping so many people. But I just want to be focused on maybe some of those folks that the industry has left behind and forgot about.
It does seem like a lot of the conventions are based more towards the younger crowd, because the ones we've been at, how people look, and it's like more of a younger generation walking around, and the vibe and everything, it's just kind of based more towards them, to where, and I never even thought about it until you just said it. It would be nice to go to a large convention and it'd be kind of quiet a little bit, just maybe the rustle of people walking around and talking and stuff, but it's like you're at the fair sometimes. You got the loud blasted music going on, and it's just sometimes your mind can't take it all in.
Yeah, and like I said, it's really good and welcoming to a certain kind of crowd, right? But there's another crowd, because older people have lungs too, right? Older people smoke too. And I hear this a lot. Phil, you've lost touch with how vaping is. You haven't evolved with vaping. But see, here's the thing, guys. Since I've started vaping, how has smoking evolved? How people smoke changed? It hasn't. The needs of the smoker remain today exactly the same as they did when I was vaping my Joy 510 with my regular resistance atomizer with a bridge that I would pour e-liquid into, and I would pray to God that e-liquid would make its way to the coil, right? The needs of the smoker haven't changed. So that's just what I want to be focused on.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, folks, hit that hour mark.
Where's the questions? Where are all the questions?
I know. I was sitting here. I haven't seen just a big ton of questions, man. What's going on?
It's okay.
I don't think people are they paying attention?
How many people are watching right now?
My screen's showing 185 right
185. You know what? It's probably because there's no drama. Do you want to create some drama? That could bring your viewer ratings right up. You know what? Mark Fagan, fuck you. fuck you. I'm going on Facebook right now, and
There goes.
Fagan's a fucking pussy, and we're just gonna create a beef next week. Next week we're gonna talk about the beef on the show, and your numbers are gonna fucking triple. Watch.
Yep.
Watch.
Very Springer show. Let's do it.
Here we go. Here's the drama. I'm going to go ahead. I'm drama free, and here we go. Phil has decided to be a member of this show every week, so he's got to be here. And he said he's going to tell the truth about everything. He's been lying the whole time. So that right there enough should have things stirred up. So. Oh,
Dude,
goodness.
I tell the truth about everything that's going on. I try to be as transparent as possible. I let people know what's going on. The things that I can't talk about are, where the NDAs are in place, or where companies have trusted, in me to maintain their secrets. So everything else, yeah. But there's times like I'm kind of sick of going to the shows and getting up on stage and doing that fucking that spiel. Me and Dimitri go on stage a lot together, and I think we work really well because he handles the political side of vaping, the advocacy side of vaping, the that side, and then I handle the tech questions and what I think about vaping. And sometimes I just don't want to go on stage. I would much rather like this little private room somewhere in the back of a show and just sit down with 20 vapors and just bullshit about vaping, or maybe not vaping, maybe we'll talk about fucking Star Wars and who I think Rey is, or quadcopter. Just, because it's inevitable. You go to a show and it's the end of the show. And now I typically want to maybe drink and be stupid. Right, because I enjoy being stupid a lot. I like to be serious, and serious as a heart attack when the time is required. But then I also want to be a fucking goofball, and I think I excel at that at a lot of times. But at the end of the show, when I'm ready to drink and turn P. Busardo off, somebody will come up to me and say, "Listen, I built this quad duplicate coil, and I'm running at temperature control, and I need to know what TCR values is." I'm like, dude. Can we talk about stripper poles or something at this point? Maybe you just want to turn off. You just want to turn off because believe me, guys, I think about vaping 95% of the time. I am constantly thinking about this industry. I'm thinking about what we could do to preserve the industry, what we could do to show this industry in the best possible light, what I can do to represent the industry in the best possible way. I even have a little pocket digital recorder that even when I'm sitting down watching TV at night, if I have an idea, I'll record it on the recorder, or when I'm watching TV, I'm holding a device that I'm reviewing and I'm feeling it, and I'm trying to figure out how I can work with this device or how it feels in the dark. When you're that focused and dedicated to something, every now and then you just want to talk about something else. Right?
Wow, that's a real good idea. Carrying a pocket recorder and just kind of making notes about the device you're going to review. That's a beautiful idea.
I'll send you my PayPal account.
Oh, and by the way, Mike's got that demon in him just like you. At the end of the day, when we're at the show, well, it's not even at the end of the day. It's kinda,
right when I walk in.
yeah, it's kind of like as soon as Mike walks in, he starts up. So the cranberry and vodka starts flowing pretty hard.
Yeah. That's why a lot of times I say I don't want to be the advocate, right? I don't want to be the Greg Connolly walking around in a suit all day long. I'm glad that we have the Greg Connollys walking around in suits all day long, right? But I don't want to be that guy. I just because when it comes time to be a goofball, I want to be a goofball. I still want to represent the industry, and myself in the best possible way. But you got to understand, after hours and private time is private time. That's what they call it, private time. Stay the fuck out of it, right? Yeah. Let me do me. Let me be me, private time, and stay the fuck out of it.
That's why you and Dimitri go live on Facebook in the hotel room, right?
Absolutely. What else can I say? Unlike Clinton, I inhaled.
Whoa.
Oh goodness. Hey, another question, because we talked about this last time. Anything new on the Florida thing? You moving or not?
Yeah, really excited about that, and of course, you know, as soon as that gets out, oh my God, Phil gets so much money from the vaping community. He's able to buy. I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait for that. But you know, you also have to understand that, you know, like even my car, like I have an Audi TT convertible, right? And it's like, oh, Phil gets paid for reviews. No, go look at the fucking registration on the car. I mean, I bought that thing like years and years and years ago. I have been very, very lucky and blessed to have a very good position. You know, when I was working as an engineer, I got picked up from college. I was actually still in college, and I went on a co-op. They have a co-op program, and the company that I co-opted with, they liked what I was doing. They liked me, and they hired me full time. And they showed me the offer when they hired me full time. And this is even without a degree at that point. And I looked at the offer, and I damn near swallowed my tongue. I'm like, I'd be fucking stupid not to do this. You know, so I did that for a very, very long period of time. And actually up to the point where I moved on from that company, I was with the same company, which is like unheard of nowadays. So since college, with the same company, that company changed names, they were bought and they were sold, but I was still with that same company. I had the DJing thing as a hobby. I was part owner in a nightclub. So my money comes from, you know, real like fucking hard work, you know, and dedication. And I've always had this dream of having a home in Florida. But what kind of kept me back was the fact that I was tied to a location-based job, right, which was here in Rochester. You know, luckily the community and moving into vaping full time has allowed me to kind of rethink that, and I'm not really tied down to a location anymore. I can certainly work from home. But also when I when I made the decision to leave the career as an engineer and come into the vape world full time, that's pretty much the fucking week the FDA regulations came out, right? So it's like, bend over, here it comes, no fucking lube, nothing, and it's like, oh my God. So, you know, believe me, I want to save this industry just the same way that everybody else does, because now my balls are on the table just like, you know, everybody else, right? So it's important to me. It's, you know, it's important to the Chinese companies because, you know, for the most part, they're not really thinking about tobacco harm reduction. They're thinking about making profit, right? They're thinking about, you know, doing business in America. So they don't want it to go away. I think about saving lives here in America, and I don't want it to go away. And then, yeah, I think all of us, you know, with vested interest in this community, this is how we make our living now, and we don't want it to go away. So it's important for so many different reasons. It's important financially. It's important for health. It's important. It's important, but it needs to, I think, stay somewhat grounded. And I think there's a lot of things that are going on right now that are not going, like I always say, not going to win us any popularity contests, right? Because every time one of these batteries explodes, raises a red flag. What's going on? Right. So now what they start to do is they start to investigate, they start to look, and they're going to see 360 watt devices with 4 batteries. Okay. They're not going to care that it wasn't that device's fault that caused that battery to fail. They're not going to care, but they are going to see that. And I don't think that's good for the industry. I really don't, guys. You know, that's just the truth. Yeah. Love it or hate it. That's the fucking truth.
Completely agree. And, you know, with all the time, work, and hours spent that you do with, like, the advocacy and the reviews and this and that, like you and Dimitri and everyone, I mean, why would people think that you don't get paid? I mean, you have to get paid for all the time that you spend. You spend like 24 hours a day doing videos and advocacy and everything. Like, some money has to be made. I hate people that say, oh, you get paid for this, you get paid for that. Well, fuck, I spent enough time doing it. I better get paid for it.
I know.
Well, first of all, I'm an adult. How I make my money is how I make my money. Stay the fuck out of that. The same way you stay the fuck out of my personal life, right? You know, I can, you know, pick and choose. But let's look at it. I've had this thought. Let's say the 4 of us come out with the perfect electronic cigarette. Okay, we have just, me, Scott, Mike, Mark, we have just created the perfect electronic cigarette. And that perfect electronic cigarette appeals to the 40 million smokers plus that we still have in America. Okay. So what happens? We are going to, 2 things. We are going to save more lives than maybe anybody ever has. That's number one. Number two, we're going to get fucking rich. We're going to get stupid, filthy fucking rich. One just goes with the other. You have to deal. You have to just realize that's just the way it works, right? But I would like to be well off. I would like to have stability for myself, for my family. I would like to, be able to do really nice and good things. But I want to do it the right way. I want to do it for the right reasons. And because if I do it that way, I can sleep with myself at night. I don't want to do it by coming out with a 360 watt device. I don't want to do it by coming out with a high VG, super, super sweet 120 mil bottle with a fucking cartoon character on it. I don't want to do it that way. So the way I want to do it is going to be a whole lot more challenging. It's going to be a lot harder to do because we all know it's a lot easier to market to a vapor than it is to market to a smoker, right? But I just want to do the right things the right way for the right reason so that I personally can sleep with myself at night. I hope that makes sense, right?
Makes a lot of sense.
And I know I was going to go to the grocery store after this, but since I've had to pay you to be on the show, I don't guess we'll eat this week. But it's all good. It's all good.
Look, hey. Ramen noodles, man. I'm telling you. Ramen noodles, mac and cheese. You'll be fine, Scott.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
I'll try to live on Mark's diet, I guess, for a little while.
Besides, for these shows, I'm coming out with a new payment plan. It's a very easy payment plan. We can work things out like that.
Oh, shit.
Right? People who are listening to this show right now going, that fucking Phil, man.
Oh, that's why Mark owes me a lot of money for all the shows.
So when's your new spinner going to be out on the market?
Oh, let me tell you something. I'm working on it, dude. See what? Right. First of all, this one is very off balance. Okay. See, like if I were to here, hold on a second. Here, watch. Let's here. Okay. Wait, can you see me? Can you see? This is some fascinating video here. Watch this. Look. See how it's kind of shaking?
Yep.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. This is very almost like a thumbs down. So like when I spin it, when I spin mine, I want it to go for at least 3 hours, like nonstop, and I want to be able to hook it up to a generator so it like powers my electronic cigarette. I'm just making this up as I go, guys. Really.
Oh shit!
What was that? Hook it up to that 4,000. What was it? The
legal vape 4,000.
Yeah, hook it up to the legal vape 4,000.
I was thinking about doing another video, and I'm sure what do you call it? That'll create as much drama. Like with some of these new tanks that are actually able to handle like 360 watts, right? God knows how much liquid those tanks are going through. So you ever see the beer hat with the beer things up here, and it comes out with a tube, right? We should create that for e-liquid, right? So you have your e-liquid tanks up here, and you have tubes that come down and feed your tank, right? So you can handle 360 watts comfortably all day long without filling your tank. I think that's a great idea. I think
start working on that video.
I gotta tell you what, China's like, oh, we make it at it right now.
Doesn't Kanger have one that has tubes coming out of it? I thought
it does. The perfume bottle mod. Yeah, yeah.
Do you have one of those, by the way?
Of course I do.
Nice. That's not your all day thing. What the hell? Come on, man.
Somebody was saying that the tubes on that react very, very poorly to the liquids that are known to like break down tanks. It actually starts to break down that tubing and it gets sticky and bad. So, yeah, it's a cool idea, and that's what a lot of these companies do. They come out with a cool idea, and they throw it at the wall and they see what sticks. But sometimes cool ideas, need to be also good ideas, so that it doesn't make people, look funny at a company. You know what I mean? Because when I see a device like that, maybe I look a little bit like, what are they trying to do? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But
yeah. All right, we got to roll. Thanks for joining, Phil.
That's it.
This is it, man. This is it. This is the only reason why I wanted you on here, and I'm done with you. So.
How long does the show? It goes only for an hour, right?
It does, and we've gone over an hour. So I've even given them an extra 20 minutes today to see your face. So
I'm having fun, and like I'm on a fucking roll, and I'm flowing,
Hey,
I'm flowing like a rapper.
Stop complaining, Phil. You got to go edit that video.
I really know. Like, I'm call Dimitri first, otherwise I'll never fucking.
Oh, that's right. You got to call Dimitri.
Yeah. Well, like I said, as always, I'm glad that you joined. We're going to have you back at some point in time because, got to have a man on here. So, any last words?
Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon. No, I just gotta, I'm telling you, I got to call the Greek. The last thing you want is fucking cranky, grumpy Greek, because he could be a miserable prick. So I tell you, and so I really got to call him back now. Yeah.
All right, guys, we're out of here. Thanks for joining, everybody. We'll catch you same time, same place next week. And like I said, thanks for watching. Catch y'all later. Don't go anywhere yet, Phil.
Okay.
All right. We are out of here. Goodbye, folks.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.